Imagine a nightclub bouncer who studied philosophy stepping into a bar that was never real, taking an actual hit from a solid log, and somehow turning into a cult icon. That's Roadhouse in its simplest form, though the truth behind it is even stranger. When the movie first arrived in theaters, reviewers tore it apart, and Patrick Swayze openly disliked the mullet the filmmakers forced on him. Still, against all odds, this unruly blend of barroom chaos, throat-ripping fights, and unexpectedly earnest philosophy evolved into one of the most cherished action films of its time. Off-camera, the production was as wild as the double Deuce on a packed Saturday night. Real musicians performed as if they were bar bands, stunt teams constructed entire buildings solely to destroy them, and somewhere during post-production, close to half the footage vanished forever. The key to understanding it all starts with that philosophy degree, because it explains everything that follows. Dalton's academic background set him apart from other 1980s action heroes who were usually defined by brute strength, punchy one-liners, and little interest in introspection. Dalton casually reveals he studied philosophy at New York University, a detail screenwriter David Lee Henry intentionally made central rather than a joke. That education informed Dalton's calm presence, his be nice mantra, and his ability to read people, choosing de-escalation over violence whenever possible. It pushed the film beyond standard bar fight fare, showing him reading books, practicing Tai Chi at dawn, and offering lines that sounded closer to meditation than macho bravado. While critics scoffed, audiences embraced a hero who fused intellect with physical dominance, cementing Dalton as an icon. The realism continued with the double Deuce itself, which felt so convincingly grimy that viewers assumed it was a real honky-donk, though it was actually a fully constructed set designed by production designer John J. Lloyd in California. Building it from scratch allowed elaborate fight choreography, breakaway furniture, reinforced stunt zones, and impossible camera angles, and once filming ended, the entire structure was demolished, leaving behind only legend. Swayze's mullet added to that contradiction. He arrived with classic leading man looks, only to be saddled with an aggressively 1980s haircut meant to signal blue-collar toughness. He hated it, feeling it clashed with Dalton's sophistication, yet the hairstyle became inseparable from the movie's campy charm. The commitment to authenticity extended to the action, too. When Swayze was accidentally struck by a real hardwood log during a fight scene after a mistimed dodge, an injury he powered through thanks to his martial arts background. The danger audiences felt was genuine. Music followed the same philosophy, with the Jeff Healey Band appearing on screen as the Double Deuce's house band, delivering real performances that gave the bar its lived-in energy. Casting changes also shaped the film's chemistry. Annette Bening was originally set to play Doc, but lacked romantic spark with Swayze, leading to her replacement by Kelly Lynch, whose earthy intensity ignited the relationship. Dalton's inner conflict was mirrored in his martial arts, pairing serene Tai Chi practice with brutal Hapkido techniques, visually expressing the balance between peace and controlled violence. Even the trailer teased scenes that never appeared in the final cut, fueling rumors of lost footage, while Missouri was convincingly portrayed using California locations. A quiet literary moment showed Dalton reading Legends of the Fall by Jim Harrison, a thematic echo of honor and violence later adapted into a film starring Brad Pitt. The supporting cast added further depth through Red West, a former confidant and bodyguard of Elvis Presley, whose real-world toughness informed his role. All of these elements fed into long-standing rumors about how many stunts Swayze performed himself, blurring the line between actor and stuntman and completing the mythos of a film that thrived on chaos, sincerity, and what many people don't fully appreciate is just how impressive the reality was. Thanks to his background in dance and martial arts, Patrick Swayze was capable of handling physical demands far beyond what most leading men of the era could manage. He pushed to perform a large portion of his own stunts so the fights would feel real and the camera could capture his genuine athleticism. Stunt doubles were still used for the most dangerous situations, such as major falls or moments with a high risk of injury, but compared to similar action films, doubling was kept to a minimum. As a result, when Dalton is fighting on screen, it is usually Swayze himself, which is why the action carries such a raw, visceral quality. Beyond acting and combat, Swayze also added his voice to Roadhouse's soundtrack, surprising many viewers who assumed all the music came from professional performers like the Jeff Healey Band. He recorded a song that blended seamlessly into the film's soundscape, fitting its late 1980s mix of rock and emotion. This contribution wasn't a vanity project. Swayze genuinely knew how to sing and had done so in earlier work, and his musical involvement deepened his creative investment in the film. Between the demanding stunts, the infamous mullet, and recording music, he committed himself completely to making the movie succeed. That same commitment extended to the production's practical effects, including the destruction of Red's auto parts, where the filmmakers chose to build an entire storefront facade solely to blow it up with real pyrotechnics. The structure was designed specifically for demolition, allowing total control and safety while delivering an explosion with real fire, debris, and shockwaves that effects of the era simply couldn't replicate, and they only had one chance to capture it. Beneath the 1980s style, the story itself followed a surprisingly classic structure, essentially functioning as a modern Western. Dalton as a wandering hired gun, the double Deuce as the saloon, Brad Wesley as the corrupt cattle baron, and the romance echoing traditional frontier storytelling, which helps explain why the film still feels timeless. Critics, however, were merciless when the movie opened in May 1989, mocking everything from its premise to its violence and philosophical tone, yet that backlash created a gap between professional reviews and audience enjoyment that ultimately fueled its cult reputation. In 1990, the film received 5 nominations from the Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Picture and Worst Actor, honors that initially stung but later became ironic badges of honor as the movie's "so bad it's good" legend grew. Over time, the film embedded itself deeply into pop culture, inspiring parodies, memes, and even real-world discussions among security professionals who found Dalton's "be nice until it's time not to be nice" philosophy surprisingly practical. Its efficient production, completed ahead of schedule and under budget, gave it a rough energy that endless polish might have erased, while the drastic edit from a rumored 3-hour cut to a much shorter theatrical version added to its mythology. Attentive fans even spotted continuity quirks, such as Dalton driving 2 different Buick Riviera models, which only enhanced the film's charm. The cast included unexpected cameos too, like punk icon John Doe of X, adding another layer to its cultural collage. Through home video, cable television, and midnight movie audiences, the film transformed from a critical punching bag into cult gold, proving that contradictions, sincerity, and refusal to apologize can sometimes matter more than following the rules, and cementing its journey from mocked failure to enduring classic.